Over the last couple of weeks, I've released a series of videos in which I've looked at must-have comics from different creators and also looking at different characters. And someone recently reached out to me to ask if I had done a similar video on Star Wars. And I'll be honest, I had not. I had not done it because I am not the biggest Star Wars fan, but I also didn't think that I had any must-have Star Wars books in my collection. But as I thought about it, I decided to take up the challenge. And so I went digging in the collection to see if I could find some must-have comics that every Star Wars fan should have in their collection. And potentially my list may be a little lacking, but I did manage to find what I think are some cool books. And in this video, I'm going to show you those books, and ultimately, I want you to sound off in the comment section and let me know how well I did and if I missed some books that you would potentially add. With that said, let's get to the books. Reggie here, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. As you heard in that intro, I am not the biggest Star Wars fan. I'm more of a Star Trek fan, but hopefully folks won't hold that against me. But with that said, I went into the collection to try to see if I could find some cool Star Wars books to show you in this video. And the very first book that I want to show you is a little bit of a run that I've actually been working on. I've been pulling these books from the 100K collection whenever I find them, and I think I'm pretty close to having all of them, but I surfaced a couple that I want to show you. This very first one is Star Wars Tales issue number 7, and that features, I do believe, Boba Fett. And this book is also the first cameo appearance of Boba Fett's daughter. I think she appears as a hologram, but it still counts as a cameo. Star Wars Tales issue number 7. I think it's a cool cover. I think it's a cool cover, no doubt. All right. And again, this is all part of a run, at least these first couple that I'm going to show you. So this next one is Star Wars Tales issue number 13. And this one features a really awesome cover showcasing Samuel L. Jackson, who I am a huge fan of. This is actually a variant cover, the photo variant cover for Star Wars Tales issue number 13. I thought that was a cool one, so I wanted to show you guys that. Samuel L. Jackson is an incredible actor. While we're on the topic of photo variants, I wanted to show you this one. This is issue number 23, and this is a cover featuring Wedge Antilles. And I do believe that this book actually has a number of first appearances in it. I will not attempt to list them all for you, but I am confident the Star Wars fans out there know all about that issue. And the very last Star Wars Tales that I'll show you is this next one. This features Ray Park as Darth Maul. And again, this is another one of those photo variant covers. This is Star Wars Tales issue number 24. There you go. So a couple of really cool books, I think, to start this video off on the right foot. I do want to show you a cool slab here. This is a slab that I sent in to CGC. I had it come back. I thought that it was going to come back at a higher grade, but it is what it is. It's actually been back for quite some time. I want to say I found 3 copies of this book in the collection. This is Star Wars Heir to the Empire issue number 1. And I do believe this book too has a couple of first appearances in it. Just a cool book that I went hunting for in the collection. This book was super hot about a year ago, and I was just on this mission. I was on a mission to find this book in the collection. I would find, issue 2, 3, 4, but could not find one. And then I was able to locate a copy a short time after, a couple of more copies. So again, just a cool book that I'm pleased to have in the collection. I don't know if I'll keep it in the collection long term, but it's here for now. So I have another stack here that I want to dig into. There's a couple of raw books and a couple of slabs as well. And we're actually going to get things started off right now with Star Wars issue number 2. This is actually from volume 1, and this is the first appearance of Obi-Wan Kenobi, Han Solo, and also Chewbacca. Really cool book. I have a ton of these in the collection. The 100K collection just had a ton of these. I have most of 2 full runs and then a partial run of Star Wars Volume 1. Not a single #1 in the entire thing. Like, again, I have like 3+ bins of Star Wars and not a single #1. But again, a really cool copy here of issue #2. And like I said, I found several copies of that in the collection. I want to say I sent that one in and maybe a few others into CGC to see if I could get a 9.6 or higher on them. No, they all got sent back to me, so it is what it is. This next one is issue #6, and this is the second appearance of Wedge Antilles. It is also a pivotal battle between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. Not necessarily the greatest cover, but honestly, not a lot of these Star Wars covers are great covers in my opinion, but definitely cool books, especially for fans of Star Wars. This next one is one that I pulled out, and I did it because it is actually the very first original Star Wars story to be told in comics. Everything previous to this, I believe, was adapted from the movie. And so this is the first original story. This is Star Wars issue #7. I thought that that was a worthy book to bring forward as a must-have book because I do believe that Volume 1 went on for another 100 issues after issue #7. So a really nice run over a series of years for this title. The next book that I want to show you is issue #41, and this is the first cameo appearance of Yoda. I believe he was in Shadow, but it is also the first cover appearance of the Millennium Falcon. A really cool book. I think I found like 8 or 9 copies of this in the collection. Just a really cool book right there that I wanted to show you guys. Maybe I'll send one or more of these into CGC at some point. I need to take a look at the current value to determine whether it actually makes sense for me to do that. But the very last Raw book that I'll show you here is issue #43, and this is, I believe, the first U.S. appearance of Lando. Really cool pink cover here. I think this is also the second appearance of Boba Fett. So cool book. Again, found multiple copies of this in the collection, as you would imagine, in a lot of bins dedicated to Star Wars. So 2 more books that I want to show you all that I think are really cool books. I was very pleased to have found copies of at least one of these, multiple copies of at least one of these in the 100K collection. I need to think about the second one. I can't remember if the second one was found or whether I purchased it, so I need to think about that. But this first one is Star Wars issue #42, and just a really cool cover right there. I think this is some controversy around whether this is a first appearance, second appearance kind of thing. I'm not going to get into that. It's not on a label, so I'm not going to reflect it, but a really cool book right here featuring Boba Fett right there on the cover. And then the very last book that I'll show you guys, and again, I may have found a single copy of this one. Maybe a single copy was from the collection. This is Star Wars issue #68 with white pages, came back a 9.0. Really cool Star Wars book right there. And the last one was a 9.4 with white pages. Just remember that I did not give you the date on that one. You can probably see it, but just a couple of really cool books that I was able to find in the collection. Again, I think that there are a lot of other really awesome Star Wars related books out there that real Star Wars fans probably have in their collection. I definitely want to encourage you to sound off in the comment section. If there are books that I didn't, mention here that you think should have been mentioned, sound off. Let us know what those books are, because again, we can all learn from one another. Maybe there's a Star Wars fan out there that is curious as to what are the must-have books. You can help them out down in the comment section. With that said, I'm going to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, I certainly want to encourage you to hit the thumbs up button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I definitely want to encourage you to do that now. And if you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Regie Collects. Take care.